Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Chat and Dad podcast. The
Woohoo!
podcast where we talk about the dad and chat things in life.
Maybe we'll practice that intro better next time.
It's okay. No, this is as best as we're gonna get.
Yeah.
Anyway, how are you, Joseph? What's new in the dad life?
I'm doing good. It's almost Christmas, so things only get busier from here as they do. Outside of the work life, it's always how do you keep the daughter entertained for the rest of the year, especially if they get off of daycare? The moment daycares take a summer break, that means your life doesn't necessarily get easier. It just gets busier because you have to figure out how you're going to keep them entertained for the time that they're not at school while you're still working.
Why don't you do the modern way of parenting and just give them an iPad?
Well, this is why I'm a dad and you're a Chad.
But you've definitely given your child an iPad, right? Like here.
Not an iPad. I've put her in front of the TV. I put her with my phone every once in a while. She's very into Peppa Pig. She's very into Miss Rachel, some of the other ones off of YouTube as well. But obviously, I'm a really good dad, so I wouldn't put them in front of the TV for over like 2.5 hours at a time.
No.
I totally didn't do that this weekend.
Yes, absolutely. For me, it's just like iPad, baby. It's okay. Here's an iPad. Be a genius. Mine some crypto.
Yeah, you want to try mining crypto on an iPad and see how far you'll get?
I don't know, like sign up for like whatever the newest NFT, whatever. Like my child will be also technological. Like my nephew's already learning like programming, and he's like 7. Like when I was 7, I barely had a computer.
Yeah. 7 seems like a good age to start learning how to code and stuff. I think like when you're 5, you can start like building stuff, whatnot, right? Like,
Well, not in my generation, not in my time.
I guess back in your time, I don't think you had computers back then, but yes, that's how old you are.
I know. Anyhow, which, is a good segue to our topic of the day, which is like, you.
I'll give that segue a 5 out of 10, but please continue.
Well, so if you have a squatter in your house, will you give them an iPad?
Like you'd give your squatter an.
No, probably not. But anyway, this is actually kind of continuation from our last episode where in our last episode, we talk about the things you would do if you're homeless, and one of my solution is becoming a squatter, and Joseph hates that so much. So to continue that topic, we are actually going to talk about if you have a place or a house you're renting out.
So basically, you're saying if you had an Artha in your house, what would you do?
How do you know I'm squatting?
You told us that's what you would do, but I guess you're not homeless yet, and that's why we're still doing these podcasts.
No, please don't say yes. No, but I think, yeah. So if you have someone who is like suddenly squatting at your place, what will you do? And for our listeners overseas who don't know what squatting means, squatting is to crouch with one knee bent and one heel's close to touching one buttocks and back one thighs.
Is that a sex position?
That's actually what squatting means. But squatter means a person who unlawfully occupies. Nothing, I'm good.
What did you just do? No. Under your table? That's where you keep squatters. I saw your face for a second when the light fell. It was gold.
Well, you can see it again because it's recorded for the internet. But anyway, let's continue on with the topic this week. If you were to have squatters in your property, what will you do, Joseph?
Now, I do want to preface this. You know what? Why don't we get the good things out of the way? The easy answers, which is like, obviously, like, what is the ethical thing you would do as a morally good person? If you had a squatter in your home, what would you do to professionally escort them out of your house? Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Why don't we start off with that before we dive into the, like, what's probably more likely going to happen with, people like you and I? Do you want to do that?
Okay.
Okay,
Sure.
why don't you start first? So if you had an Artha in your house, how would you professionally and legally maneuver his way out of from under your desk to out the door?
Okay. And we're starting with the most ethical way.
Yeah, as ethical as can be.
Well, the cliche answer would be to call the police. But this is not about being cliche in this podcast right now. Okay.
Right, but let's at least, check that list off. So you start off by calling the cops. What else would you do?
Well, calling the cops would be like such an easy move. No.
Yeah.
You know what I will do? I will call their parents, right?
Is
I
is
will
this squatter someone you know?
I don't know, but like I presume I will have some information about the squatter before like he or she or they decide to squat in my place, you know?
Yeah, assuming they have parents in the first place who are still living, because I'm assuming there'd be certain circumstances that they would have to be in order to be like, yeah, okay, I got nowhere else to go. That's why I'm gonna squat. Hey, unless
Yeah.
I'm wrong, unless it's like for shits and giggles, I'm just gonna squat in this home and see how long I can last for.
Mm.
You
Okay,
know?
so if it's like a squatter out of nowhere, then it'll change my answer.
Okay.
If it's a
So
squatter out of nowhere, what I will do is first I will order
a
I will
large pizza.
hire someone at Uber Eats.
Okay.
Send pizza to the place, all right? And then I'll actually put a hidden camera in the box just so I can monitor the situation inside, right? So that's step 1 for me. I need to have an eye on the inside.
Okay.
Okay?
I like it.
All right? And when I have an eye on the inside,
I think we're already
okay?
getting way past the whole like ethical side already because we're way more excited about the unethical side. But no, please keep going.
None of my answers are ethical.
I think that speaks to the type of person you are, but I love it.
Okay? All right. When I get like this camera inside, what I'm going to do is I'm going
Yep.
to live stream this person
Yep.
and I'm going to start like a YouTube channel or like a live streaming like Twitch channel, right? Called like Squatter in My House.
Yeah. Oh, I
And
like
I'm just
that.
going to make so much money because people are going to be so fascinated about the squatter living in my place.
Okay, so I do want to dive deeper into that and talk about the logistics of hiding a camera. So you're assuming that you're gonna order the Uber, like you're gonna Uber Eats the pizza for them, and you're
Yes.
assuming that they will accept the pizza. I guess, since they're squatters, they would definitely accept.
Yes, of course. Who says no to pizza?
Then the camera is obviously going to have to go into the box in a
Yes.
way where it's hidden. So you're going to
Yes.
need to find a small enough camera to put into the box.
Yes.
And then you're banking on the fact that the squatter is very irresponsible and just leaves the camera on in the box on the table and doesn't throw it away. Is that correct?
No, it's gonna be like those really small cameras, which is a really good
Well,
segue to our sponsor of the day, the the biggest. I'm not gonna mention. No, okay, but you're overthinking this, okay?
I definitely
No,
am.
yes, okay, but don't worry. It starts with one camera, and then when I can like monitor situation, I can like, because this guy will not throw away the garbage because he won't leave the place, right? The moment he opens the door, there's already gonna be like booby traps.
True.
So he's always
True.
gonna like keep all his garbage inside the place.
So you're going to be on like 24/7 surveillance on this guy.
But
Wait
yes,
for the
that is.
moment where he leaves the house.
But yeah, because like if he can't pay rent on his own, well, I'm gonna make the situation where like unknowingly he suddenly becomes like a famous internet star, and that pays for the rent.
Okay. Squatter in my house.
Yeah, Squatter in My House YouTube channel. Which leads to another segue to my new YouTube channel, Squatting at Joseph's House, starting next week when he invites me for dinner.
Come on over anytime, buddy. And
Yeah,
I
I'll bring
guess
a box of pizza.
there'll always be a space under my desk for you. Let's just say that.
Yes, yes. Okay,
Man,
nah.
you know,
Okay.
you just made me think about a random story that I had.
Okay.
So my friend, he owned a place and he rented it out for I think 2 months. Basically, like eventually he had to kick this person out.
Mm-hmm.
But the TLDR of it, like the person rented for about 3 months in total, only paid rent for about a month and a half, and just eventually ghosted him. And
Okay.
when he finally went there to kick her out, because she finally 3 months later agreed to leave. And I'm skipping a lot of the details because I just want to get right to the end. You know what happened? This person had like a mental health episode or something, and like had birds living in the house. And he didn't know about this at all. He had birds living in the house. She had birds living in the house. And like he was telling me that like he spent about a whole week cleaning the house because she basically just let the birds shit all over the place in his home. And there were like he had couches in there because he had it fully furnished and everything, but like he had bird shit on the couches, he had bird shit on the tables, he had bird shit like everywhere, and
He
he
probably
was
threw out
so
everything, hey?
pissed.
Yeah.
He threw out a large majority of it because I actually helped him with it. But yeah, I helped him. But like, man, the goods thing, because this is gonna lead to another story because this
Mm-hmm.
featured my brother.
Yeah,
But
okay.
so like my brother also had I wouldn't necessarily say a terrible tenant because like I think that tenant actually paid on time and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But what ended up happening was he had the tenant had two cats. And what happened was he has carpet all over the place.
Okay.
The cat pissed all over the carpet to
Shit.
the point where like after the tenants actually ended up leaving, I mean like they kept the security deposit and stuff, but like cat piss, they couldn't get the cat piss smell out. So they basically like ended up
So it's like,
getting someone to come in.
yeah.
Yeah, they ended up getting someone to come in, replace the carpet, and like I think they're in the stage where they're like repainting the walls and stuff because it stinks. Like even after replacing the carpet, it smells like shit.
Shit, man.
Yeah, so they're like I think they're at a stage where they're trying to find a new tenant to move in right now, but I haven't actually talked to them in a while, so I should probably find out
Well,
what's
you should
happening to
probably
that.
talk to your brother more often.
I should talk to him about that more often. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
You
you're
should
right.
start a podcast with your brother just for a reason.
No, you know what? I'm sticking with Chad and Dad, and I want to make this work first before Dad and Bro comes in.
But what'll be funny? If all of that antics with the cats and the birds are live streamed to YouTube. It'll be
You're
like,
invading someone's privacy.
you
Yeah.
know, the only person who'll be mad is the owner, but the rest of like the internet will be so entertained. Okay, but okay, all right, but you haven't answered. What
Fair.
would you do? Like
Okay.
your most
So,
ethical.
my most ethical solution would be I have two things, and I think they're interconnected with one another, so I'm going to dive right into it. My first thing that I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make it impossible for them to sleep. So I'm actually going to make it as horrible of an experience as possible for them before
Okay.
they get out. And what I mean by that is make it impossible for them to sleep. So like anytime that it's like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. in the morning, you play that
Okay.
blare, the horn, you play that and you wake them up.
All right.
Okay. The other thing I would do, I'm just throwing stuff out there, blast lights into the window.
Okay.
Blast lights into the window, make it really bright. It make makes them feel like they're in danger, like they don't know what's
In
going to
danger.
happen next. They're in
You know what they can
danger.
do? They can just move to another room, you know? Or they can just like close the curtains.
Some of the rooms have windows, some of the rooms don't, you know? Like, I mean, like, if you think about it, at some point, if they're already occupying your home, there's nothing stopping you from, like, breaking a window to scare them a little bit. And then you just replace the window afterwards, you know?
Hmm.
I'm
Which is
saying, like, yeah, go ahead.
which is a good segue to my next
To our sponsor.
answer.
No, go
No,
for it.
but no, but you mentioned like scaring, right? Because that's like actually my second answer is I will actually hire a psychic or a medium or one of whatever it is to bring like spirits into the house, right? To basically contractually haunt the place until the guy leaves.
Don't mediums work on removing spirits out of a space? Do you think they have
Well,
the power to do the opposite?
you know what? This is an untapped new industry for mediums, right? Because that's what we're all about in Canada, giving business ideas for entrepreneurs. So if you are a medium or a psychic who can contact the world beyond, and you think you can like bring ghosts to a house that's not haunted and make it temporarily haunted to remove squatters, you can email us.
And like how you said, temporarily haunted.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
you're only gonna
contractually, so
stay here for
exactly. So like the moment like the squatter is like, you know, like traumatized, like, you know, exorcist,
Mm-hmm.
everything, like have to leave, right? You pay the medium and you'll be like, yeah, take out the demon inside my house, please.
Yeah, and where does the medium store these ghosts when they're not employed per se?
You know what? I don't know. Maybe in those like really fancy Stanley cups during Black Friday.
No, no.
Like those genie lamps, you know, like modern. Which is a good segue for our next one. No, no, please, Stanley Cup sponsor us.
You know, we'll get there. We'll get there. We just need a
Yeah,
couple more hits, couple more
please.
views, you know, on our podcast, and I think we'll get there.
Yes, yes, yes. But yeah, so that is my second answer is to make the place temporarily haunted.
You know, that's a good segue. Would you ever live
So many
somewhere?
segues.
Well, I mean, I think these are cool topics to dive into. Would you ever stay over in somewhere haunted?
No,
You wouldn't?
no.
I want to try it once.
Well, I already live in a haunted place in Jakarta before, so.
Well, okay. Well, I feel like don't leave us hanging. What happened?
Well, it's scary, man. It like, you know, it shows up. Like Southeast Asia is a very spiritual place, okay? Like
Okay,
super spiritual, and there's like it's scary. You don't mess with the spirits in Southeast Asia, okay?
again, you're gonna have to tell us the
No, but
whole
long story
story.
short, I live in a haunted house for like 2 years, and it's not like, you know, it's like it pops up like boo. No, it's like bad energy, things like that. It's like really affects the family dynamics. It's very very scary.
Wait, were you living with your parents in this haunted house?
Yes,
And was this a house you were renting, or was it just like a?
but yeah, our family was renting this place.
So your family rented a haunted house. Like when they
Well, you
rented
know,
it, did they know?
it wasn't exactly in the brochure, Joseph, that the place is haunted. But
Well, I don't know.
after a year living there, you start like sensing some things that something is wrong with this place.
Okay, so what was the scariest thing that happened?
You know, the scariest thing is like so like we're renting the place, we're leasing the place, right? So it's like
Okay.
the five previous families that live there, all like there's always like a family member who like somehow tragically passed away in a very young age, and it's so scary, and it's just like and when we were living there, it's like very obvious that like this thing was like targeting my mom, so it's just like
Wait,
ooh.
so what was the scariest thing that happened to your mom? Like, did she see some random
A lot
stuff?
of diseases, a lot of diseases.
So she just got sick a lot,
Yeah,
or
but
sick.
then but we felt something was wrong. There's like
Did you ever see anything like just move
I
out of
did
nowhere?
actually. I did. I saw like again, still in our squatting podcast, people. But
Yeah.
I did saw like I was like going to my living room, and this was during the day, and I saw like in the dining table, there's like this huge ass table spider. Like I don't know, and I was like in like junior high school, and I immediately cried because like it was like I don't know, but it was like it made me cry so hard. I don't know how.
So it was a really big spider. Is that like a native species of
No, no,
Jakarta?
no, no. It's like ghostly and stuff. It was like
Well, okay.
yeah, but that was very scary.
That's pretty cool.
No, it's
I've
not. It's horrible. But yeah, to
I
answer your
mean,
question, I do not want to live in a haunted house.
you know what? Fair. I can understand how a squatter would feel
Yeah.
if they actually believed in that stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
Like
But like,
I would live in one. Just maybe for like a night. I
yeah,
just want to
maybe a
know
night.
what
A night would
happens.
be okay. I don't think it's like a long term thing. It's all like energies and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. What's the
Okay.
second thing? What you would do to a squatter at your place?
Okay. So the second thing I would do, I wrote this down. So for one, I would tent the house for termites and then
Okay.
change the locks so they can't actually get out.
So you're gonna fume your house
I'm gonna fume my house
with
and then
someone
basically
inside?
trap them in there and then just change the locks so they can't actually get out.
Isn't that murder?
Only if they die.
Isn't that manslaughter? Isn't that attempted murder?
See previous answer. Only if they die.
Okay,
But
all right.
yes. You know what? No. Okay. Obviously, you would give them a chance to run out, right? Like I would tent the place and I'll say, "Hey, Artha, there are termites, or we're gonna fume this house. So
Mhm.
this is your chance of getting out. If you don't get out, it's not my fault." And then you change the locks and you lock them in and you say, "I'm so sorry, Artha. There's no way for you. You had your chance." And then you know, get your house back, right? Plus, afterwards, you know what the best part is? Your house is termite free. Even better. So
Well, yeah. It's like killing two birds with one stone,
that's right. That's right.
or killing a
Getting
lot of birds.
killing a lot of termites, but yes. See?
Which yeah. So next week we should talk about if you are accused of manslaughter.
What would you do if you killed a man?
If you killed a man because you're trying to fume. Okay.
I would run. But
Alright.
yes.
Yes. Okay. All right. So you're gonna try to fume your house, and hopefully this person not die, but just run
I
away
think
or something.
so. I think so. I think you can get away with it too.
Hmm.
Self
Well,
defense.
my last answer is if there's a squatter in my house, right? I would actually knock on the door and try to understand. Be a friend.
Fuck off. You and
Be a
your.
friend.
You should have started with this, buddy. I asked you, what is the most ethical thing you would do? I think I'm going to try and be their friend.
And like understand because we need more. We need more conversation, like Jubilee style. Like
Wait, what's Jubilee style?
you don't watch Jubilee YouTube videos. Okay, all right, but yeah, it's
Nope.
just well, I'm just gonna be like, and when they're crying, and they come outside and they give me a hug, right? I'll toss them to the lawn where my booby trap is there.
So that's the thing. If they will just willingly open their doors, then they wouldn't be squatting in the first place. You know what I mean? It's like,
They
hello.
because you don't understand them, Joseph. There's a reason why their cat is peeing all over their brother's carpet because there's no
True.
conversation.
Yeah. Because yeah. So
If
had
your
they had
brother
that
will
in,
come and be like, "Hey, cats, right?"
listen, bro. Yeah. Hey. I'm so sorry this happened to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I don't
Okay.
know, like, you know, maybe like you talk to them, and then you
Mm-hmm.
shank them.
Hey, is everything okay?
Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
yeah.
That.
And then and then
All right.
if
All right.
like and then if like, you know, if they pass away, you hire a medium, right?
And then you capture their spirit in a
You
genie
capture this.
bottle.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and then you take it to the next house.
Exactly. So
Dude, come full circle. I love it.
you've come full circle,
Yeah.
and you make a YouTube channel out of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Literally. Nice.
So how about you? Do you have like one more answer?
I'm not gonna lie, I had it, but then the more we talked, I feel like it doesn't really make sense anymore.
Okay.
So like my whole thing was like, you can buy this like liquid poop, and then you just like leave it on
Oh,
their door, or like I think I saw
just
this
make
on
it like
Reddit.
smell very horrible, right?
Yeah, but like there's something else called like piss piss something. Like you basically piss in a bag and you like freeze it, and then you
Okay.
like throw it at someone, you
Okay.
know? And then apparently it's like, or like what if you piss into like a water balloon and you throw it at someone? I don't know. That see, it doesn't really make sense anymore.
That
Exactly. So you go through the same thing my brother went through. So I don't
exactly. And
think I
worst of
want to
all,
do
it's
that.
your piss.
Yeah,
You have to
that's
clean
true.
up your.
Well, I mean, you know, most people like their own the smell of their own farts, right? So I feel like
So
maybe I'd be
yeah, you
okay
know
with
what?
it. Yeah.
Maybe yeah.
Do you like the smell of your own farts?
No,
Okay.
I like
Well,
it when people are tortured by it, and I like it even more when I'm like, oh, it's that guy right there. I'm like, yeah,
yeah, that guy, not me, not me.
gaslighting 101, yo. I love
Yeah,
it.
yeah. You know, I had something actually. Wanted to ask, have you ever looked into? This is something I actually wanted to send to like my enemies, I guess you could call it. But you can actually buy like I think it's called like Sparkle box surprise thing. So like there's
Okay,
a launcher inside the box full of sprinkle or sparkles and stuff.
like Mark Rober style.
I guess so. Yeah. I guess it'd be similar to his
Yeah,
what do you
like
call
the
that? You know what I'm talking
sparkly
about?
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but like this is obviously less technical to like what
Mm-hmm.
Mark Rober puts together, but like you just send that out over to someone's house and then they like, ooh, a box. They open it, sparkles. Sparkles everywhere, right in their face. And then it just becomes like a big mess that they have to clean up.
Well, I don't think they're gonna clean it up, man.
Yeah, exactly. Never
I
mind.
think you
See?
know what? You know when if I'm a squatter, the last thing I'm gonna do, you know, I gotta tidy up this place, man. This place I'm
Yes.
living illegally. That's like the first
Yes.
thing.
Yeah. See, the that's the whole thing. Like I would actually like to study up on like tenancy laws in like BC, for example,
Yeah,
because I've heard like I mean I've heard horror stories, and I don't know how much you know about this, but like even with the tenancy laws are so on the tenant's side in BC that like apparently if you follow the proper paperwork and all that, it takes like a minimum of like I think something about like 9 months just to get someone to come out like legally.
like the police.
No, no, no. Like even the police, they won't do anything unless you have the proper paperwork. You know that, right?
Shit, yeah, that's what I heard. But I heard that in Toronto.
Yeah. So in BC, and I'm sure it's like similar in Toronto as well, right? Like you have to go through the tribunal, you have to go through like BC Tenancy Board or something like that, and then like you have to follow a very specific procedure of like giving the tenant enough time because you have to serve them the papers, but you have to do it in like a physical paper, and then you have to give them like a week's heads up or something, and then they have to like not agree to it or whatever, and then you have to take that evidence to like pass it over to the board, get them to approve of it, but even them they take like 2 or 3 months just to get back to you or something, and then altogether that entire process can take up to like I think I've heard some people take up to like a year just to like be able to kick people out.
So it's like a year of free rent.
Literally, it's
That's our
happened.
financial advice, people.
Don't rent to squatters.
No, because like even if you squat, like I mean, you can't ever leave your place, right?
That's right.
Because the most ethical thing is like you put cameras, and when they leave, you board the place up so they don't come back.
Yes. Is it though? Because
No, yeah,
it's
because like
at
they,
some
they
point.
can't come back because like the door's not even locked; it's boarded up.
See, that's where I'm wondering if, like, what if they call the cops and then they go be like, "Hey, I have the tenancy agreement that like I can live here, etc., etc."
Yeah, but
So like,
like if you're like you haven't paid rent in 3 months, I'm pretty sure that's like breaking the tenancy agreement, no?
it does. See, that's
But
where I'm
yeah,
like, I don't know. I don't know why does it take like 12 months? I don't know.
I don't know. I think it's just a lot of bureaucracy.
There is definitely a lot of bureaucracy. I'm not I don't
Well,
love
I
it.
kind of understand as well because like at least in BC, it's such an expensive place, so like you don't want like so many landlords taking advantage, right? Like suddenly like hiking the price up.
Well, they have rent control for that too.
Yeah,
Like
but
I'm
like
sure, yeah.
yeah, you have rent control when you're already in, but like when they first rent it out, you give them the rates, right?
True. True.
Right? So it's just like, I know someone who like lived in West End for the longest time, paid like 1,200 for like 2 bedroom or something. I
Wow.
know, but they moved like in 2000 or something, right? And then their
Yeah.
landlord was like, we're renovating, right? And then like the moment they left, suddenly like the rent became like 3 grand.
Hmm.
So it's just
So
like, it's
so
just like,
the wait, the landlord kicked them out basically by letting them know that they're renovating?
yeah, because like, what can you do, right?
I guess there are ways around it. Like you can say like your family's moving back in or something like that.
That's what they usually do. Like, again,
Yeah.
this podcast now is like on the serious side, but that's what you do. Now you can only like actually evict someone if like a direct family member. So not even your cousin. Like it has to be like your son or like something or like your wife.
Yeah, right. Like it can't be your cousin, it can't be your aunt. It has to be like your immediate family, I believe.
Exactly. So,
Yeah. Well,
well, that's our advice for this week's podcast. What are we
wait,
talking about next week?
what's our advice? If you were to
Yeah,
sum it up,
like
what's our advice?
our advice is get an online job and then just squat because you'll save 1 year's rent. You just pay the first month, you don't pay the second month, and then like your landlord had to go like through all this process.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, it's
And
funny that none of us like mentioned like, oh, just turn off the water or something, or turn off the heat.
well, you typically have to do that from inside the house. I guess it depends on the type of house. Like if you live in a standalone house, then it's outside. But apartments, you have to do it inside.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways.
I find like yeah, but anyways, thank you everybody for listening to this week's show.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, what are we talking about next week, Joseph?
That's a good point. Let's look it up. I mean, we could do what would you do if you killed him? No, we're not doing that.
No, I know a good one. But it still relates to manslaughter. Okay,
Okay.
so if
Why do you like
someone you
manslaughter so much? Okay,
if you
anyways.
if someone gets like killed, how do you avenge them?
Man, okay, that's dark. Let's
Okay,
let's table this for after this podcast and then we'll figure it out and it'll be a
sure.
surprise for everyone when we do it.
Okay, cool.
But maybe we'll stay away from manslaughter in
All
general
right.
for
Well, you
now.
started it with like the fumes and the termites.
That's true, but I said only if they die and I didn't say they are definitely going to die because
You know
as you
what?
said, a
So
house has
same
many
as me.
rooms.
I'm gonna shank them, but I'm gonna make sure it's somewhere not vital so they don't die.
Nice. Yeah. It's
Like
nice to
their
know you.
arm or something.
Yeah. Or like they're, just right underneath their stomach. So it doesn't, as long as you don't puncture the heart, I think it'll be okay.
Yeah.
I should probably talk to my friend who's an EMT and he would probably know way better. I
Yeah.
actually asked him that
Ask
once.
them where's the best place to shank someone with like
Best place to let them live or best place to let them,
yeah.
to make sure they die right away?
Yeah. And then like, when he asks why do you ask, just ask, oh, it's for the podcast.
Yeah. Yeah. We're talking about squatters. Yeah,
Yeah.
nothing special.
Okay, cool. But yeah, well,
Wrap it up,
anyway,
buddy. Wrap it up.
anyway, thanks a lot, guys. See you guys next week. Chad and Dad. Bye bye.
Bye bye.